This is a day, this is a day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice, I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. Oh, this is a day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is a day, this is a day that the Lord has made. This is a day, this is a day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice, we will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. Oh, this is a day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is a day, this is a day that the Lord has made. Yes, this is the day that the Lord has made. And so let us rejoice and be glad in it. Be glad, praise what is happening around you, in your life, around in your environment. Let's purpose to rejoice and be glad in this day that the Lord has made. I hope you're keeping well since the last time we were together. And I want to welcome you again this day into this channel where we discuss Children Matters. It is my belief and my hope that we're becoming better each and every day after listening, after watching to these videos. I believe we're becoming better in how we perceive children, how we interact with them, and such kind of things. I believe because that is the sole essence of this discussion. At the end of the day, we become better in how we view children, in how we engage them, in how we interact with them. Yeah, that is the essence of these videos. So welcome. Remember, I'll keep repeating this that we're focusing on the children and the child as a face because he is the foundation of his of one's life, and we want this foundation to be as strong as possible. That is why we have to do all that we can be able to do to make sure that this foundation is very strong. Now, today we're going to discuss about self-confidence. And uh, confidence in oneself is one of the most important, let me call it virtue. It's one of the most important virtues. And when you have a belief in you, when you have a trust in you, when you have confidence in who you are, with your flaws, with your strengths, your weaknesses, with the imperfections, when you have confidence in who you are, when you trust in your ability, in your skills, it really makes a big difference. And this is a very important virtue that all of us really desire to have and we look forward to have. And when you don't have a belief in yourself, confidence in yourself, then the story is usually very different. There's so many things that happen in one, like whether you're a child or you're grown up, believing yourself is very key in achieving whatever it is in performing, whether in class, whether academically or at workplace or wherever. Uh, uh, believe in yourself is very, very important. And it determines actually how you perform whatever you're supposed to perform, how you behave, how you interact with others, how you do, and such kind of things. It really determines so many things in our lives. And so today, we're going to focus on that. And because at the center of our discussions are children, so I want to bring it in. Okay, self-confidence. How do we build self-confidence in children? Because you see, we're talking self-confidence, meaning it is you who is believing in yourself. It is you who is believing in your confidence. And this is saying that you can succeed when nobody else believes in you, but you believe in yourself. Eh? So there may be that no other person is believed, but because you believe in yourself, you can succeed in such a case. But it is very hard for you to succeed whenever the person is believing in you, accept you, that you are not believing in yourself. So here, the reason I'm saying this, because I know you may ask, okay, we are talking about a self-confidence, that is a belief in yourself, a trust in yourself, in your abilities, in your skills, in your strengths, in your weakness, a belief about who you are in yourself. So in this case, because you're bringing the children uh, on board in this regard, so sometimes children may not have learned to believe in themselves, but we can believe in them and help them, and in that help them to achieve the belief in themselves. I hope I hope I'm not really confusing you in the discussion I'm talking about. So let's go to the book of Mark, not Mark, Matthew chapter 3 in verse 16 to 17. I'll paraphrase it, but make sure that you go and read the scriptures that we got in our videos. So in this instance, it is God. Jesus was being baptized. After being baptized, after getting out of the waters, the Bible says that the Holy Spirit came upon him in form of a dove. And then there was a voice, I'm paraphrasing, and there was a voice that from heaven that said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I'm well pleased." So I want us to take this interaction. Now this is God and the Father, and this is Jesus as a child. Remember at this time, Jesus had not started his ministry here on earth. It's like this was kinda a commissioning. But now God has said, "This is my son." That is one thing. This is my son. He is mine. So he belongs. That is one thing God is communicating here. Then he says, "I am well pleased with this son." I want you I want us to work together in this. Jesus had not achieved what God intended him to achieve. Yes, the sole purpose of him coming here was to save humankind. But he had not started his journey at this particular point. He had not started his journey. It's like he's being prepared now to start. He's being commissioned to start the journey. He has not, so God is not saying, "I'm well pleased with this son of mine," because you see, he has done what I expected him to do. He has not yet begun. Yeah, he has not yet begun with it. He has healed, he has obeyed me, he has glorified me in what he has not done all this. But God is saying, "I'm well pleased with him." Then, with whom I love and I'm well pleased. So God said, "I'm well pleased with this son of mine. I love him and I'm well pleased with him." So I want us to understand from this scripture. And can you imagine, even if it's you are a child, and your parents just say such kind of things to you? What implication will this one have? You see, there were people there. Of course, there were people there. There were people when Jesus was being baptized, people others who were being baptized with him. But imagine the father have just in hearing of them, "This is my son." The one thing is, this son of mine, I own him. I feel good. I feel proud about him. He is my son. So that is the father. So what is this? What implication is it having on Jesus as a son? Oh my goodness! Oh, that is my dad saying it, that I'm his own. That give you give you confidence thinking it. That you know what? He said. That is saying he is. I am his own. Then he loves me and he's well pleased with me. So what I'm saying is this instilled confidence in Jesus, because his father had confidence total confidence in him, and he expressed it. He didn't say, I believe in him, I trust in him, and so we just let him go. Imagine I believe God was very deliberate on saying this, on, on verbalizing this, because he would have just, I believe in him, and all that, I love him, but he didn't say. He could have decided to keep it to himself, but I think it was so deliberate. Maybe he knew, oh my goodness, this, my rising will help him be so confident, be so strong, believe even in the mission that I've sent him to accomplish. This will be very important. That's why he verbalized it. So we see Jesus, the way he was performing. I think maybe now, maybe even when he was facing challenging all that, he was remembering this somebody who believes in me. And sometimes maybe he could not have believed himself in the first place. Maybe he was like relying, able, maybe task ahead of me, it's too big and all that. How am I going to handle with these people? Accept me? Will they listen to me? Maybe he has such questions as most of us have. But you see, now he's walking out with a lot of confidence, because somebody, his dad, who has so much influence, already has confidence in him, and he has expressed his belief in himself. So I believe this one played a very big role in how Jesus did his work, and ultimately was able to accomplish that what his dad expected him to accomplish, because he believed in him. And so Jesus took the belief, the confidence that dad had, and maybe that is what propelled him before he could now maybe gain the confidence by himself. Yeah. So I say that today we're talking about self-confidence. And so when it comes to children, sometimes they do not believe in themselves. They have not maybe gotten that believe in themselves. So it has to start somewhere. So where does it start? It starts with we people who are influencing children in our environment, whether parents, whether teachers, whether siblings, whoever we are. But we are in the environment of children. So sometimes our self-concept starts with us, with us, with us. It starts with us. We instill it, we help them gain this belief in themselves. So, my question to you is, do we really believe in our children? Do we have confidence in our children? Do we really believe in them? And uh, what do we expect them to achieve or to accomplish, so that we can get to a point and be like, oh my goodness, now we believe in them, now we trust in them. What do we really expect them? At what point do we like in our minds maybe when this child of mine has gone to school, has become number one, has finished whatever level of education, has become whatever. We have expectations and dreams about our children, not maybe sometimes not putting to condition. They also have their dreams and the expectations. And now we who have maybe we who have an influence in them, we have thoughts about them, we have expectations, we have dreams about them. So are we waiting for them to accomplish those dreams that we have about them, so that we can believe in them? The reason I'm saying this is because I have seen and I've witnessed, because most of us don't have self-confidence. Most of us, even people who are grown up, we really have a lot of doubts with ourselves. We really have self, and maybe if you have confidence, you really struggle uh, believing in you, believing you could do something, believing you could do accomplish something, believing that you are okay with your weaknesses, with your strength, you are okay the way you are. We struggled, if you are sincere, most of us struggle into attaining such. Even if we cannot say that we were really attaining it full each and every day, we work in progress, we become better, better, better from time to time. But you see, there are people who are very low in regard to self-confidence. They don't believe in themselves at all. They don't really believe anything about themselves at all. Because of what? Because when they were growing up, there was nobody who really helped them to gain this confidence. Because maybe when they were growing up, the only thing the people who were in the environment uh, were talking, they were only looking at the weaknesses they have, and so they magnify the weakness, and so any reference to the given person is only in terms of the weakness and what they're not able to do. So with that, you don't believe, you don't feel like there's anything you're capable of doing when somebody has really measured on what you have not been able to do or you are not able to do. So, so what there's so many people who don't have self, who don't believe in themselves simply because you know they were not helped. This self-confidence was not instilled when they were growing up by them that you were in their environment. That is what you're focusing on today. Because as I said earlier, this is a virtue that is very, 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 very important in your life. So God has given us an example, and He's like telling us we don't have to believe in our children, we don't have to have confidence in them because they are perfect, because they have accomplished whatever, because they have met our expectations as people who have in front of them. No, we should have confidence in them from the word go. Sometimes this belief in them is what will lead to those things that we want them to achieve. Sometimes it's because you have believed in them, that's why they'll be able to accomplish and even to meet whatever goals, whatever dreams you have for them. So sometimes it's this believe, you believe in them, and they feel, my goodness, Kube can do this. My mommy, my daddy, my auntie, whoever believes in me, Kube can do it. Maybe sometimes that is what they need. So, somebody said that people grows into others' conversations about them. So even our children, what we see about them is very important. That they grow into those conversations that we have about and with them. So how now? What are we supposed to do now? How are we? What can we do to to instill um, these self-confident in children before even they get to a point whereby I believe in me. I just say it starts somewhere. You don't just wake up and it sprouts like you have believe, you believe in yourself, you overcome the self-doubts that you have. Still when you're having your weaknesses, still when you're having imperfections, it does just happen. It starts somewhere. And that's why I want us to like what can we do? How can we contribute to this? How can we help the children have have a belief in them? So the first thing we have to believe in them first. And okay, sometimes it's very hard believing in somebody when you don't believe in yourselves. You cannot be able to give something that you do not have. So maybe that's why even as parents and the grown-ups, maybe sometimes it's so hard for us to believe in the children because in the first place we don't believe in ourselves for whatever reasons. Maybe because of the growing up as I try to explain. So maybe we don't have self-confidence, so it becomes somehow difficult for us to believe in them because we don't believe in ourselves in the first place. But now, what are we saying? How do you do? What do we do now? One, we believe in our children. Let us believe in our children. They have weaknesses, and all of us have, but they also have strengths like all of us have. Again, they have imperfections like every one of us has. So we cannot say that huwezi believe in your child sababu ati ako na weaknesses and all that and all that. You know what? Before you even come to say that, then you should reflect on yourself. Am I good? What about me? Am I perfect? Am I imperfect? Have I strengths? Have I weaknesses? Then if you really analyze that about yourself, then you'll be very genuine when you're looking and dealing with the child. So one thing, believe in themselves. So let us recognize and emphasize on their strengths. Fine, most of us, I'm saying this because that's why I was a victim. Even when I was growing up, you could hear the focus was so much on what you're not able to do, the sign of weakness. So the focus was so much on that. The parents, the people around you, so much focusing on that weakness. So that one, instead of building self-confidence, actually decrease self-confidence. You feel you don't believe in you because I am not able to do one, two, three things, one, two, three things. But at the end of the day, there's no person who is very strong that they don't have a weakness. There's no person who is very weak that they don't have a strength. So we have weaknesses and we have strengths. So can we train ourselves? Because sometimes it is not automatic to emphasize, to recognize the strength that children have. Can we learn to reward and praise their efforts and progress? Hey, this one is not that easy. Reward and praise effort and progress. These are very important things. Effort, because sometimes we feel like we only need to reward the end result. But before you go to the end result, there are some efforts that are being applied. There's a progress. There's something that happens before you go to the end result. So can we train ourselves to, as much as you're focusing on the end result, but before we get there, what has happened in between with our children in whatever area? I'm not saying that it's only in academics or in whatever area. Can we learn to reward and praise the effort that child is making? Maybe the child was like, you know, they were not making their beds. You see, so they were just waking up and making. So you kept singing this song every day, planning, make your bed and all that. They have not made the bed. But once you get into their room and you find that they have made their bed, even if not so well, but they have made their bed. So what are you supposed to do? Mhm. That is an effort they have made. So the next day you find, oh, they made their bed, but they put they spread the sheets or whatever upside down or inside out. But you see, there is an effort. This they were not making at all. Everything was scattered. But this time round, there's an effort. There's something they have done. So can you praise and work that? Because that's what you motivate them into mindfulness. So these are good things I'm doing and all that and all that. Then finally they'll be able to do it well or perfectly. So that is one thing. Let us recognize and emphasize. And please, even if you feel your child doesn't have any strength, kindly sit back, think, and look at the children. They may be, every now and then you keep making noise. Every now and then you have to, you know, to to keep shouting at them and all that and all that. You need to see it. Okay, fine. My child is not maybe not the number one academically, but on the other hand, he's one, two, three, four. He does buzz so well. He sings so well. He does painting so well. And even the teacher was like, your child is doing painting. He does coloring so well. At home, he is not a very good person in organizing, but he's not a very tight kid. When it's come to really directing others, he's a very good leader. I'm saying, can you look at them? Even if it's only one strength, just make sure you recognize, find, emphasize that strength, and then reward and praise the effort and the progress child is making. Yeah. Then the other thing is be realistic with your child. Be real with your child. Sometimes you're not real. You're very, or when you're not real, you're fake or you're hypocritical. So be real with your child. You just manage your expectations. Okay, knowing that uh, your child is not perfect. Sometimes maybe we have uh, real versus ideal. The ideal may be a perfect child, but the real is an imperfect child, because even us as grown up, we are imperfect in so many ways. So be real, manage your expectations, be very real child. Know that this child, as much as I want, I want this child to be all good when it comes to academics, doing well, when it comes to home and cause and all that, when it comes to respect, when it comes to being responsible. This child is doing so well in everything when it comes to eating, but and all that. That is not real. That is an ideal. So the reality is, the child has imperfection. So be real, child. Manage expectation. Know that and expect that they have their imperfections. So don't expect so much of them, because you keep being disappointed. And not only you will be disappointed, you also be disappointed with the child, because they will feel, they see, my goodness, there's nothing good I'm able to achieve. But it's because you have so unrealistic expectations on them. So manage your expectations of them. They are not perfect. So allow them room for imperfections. And for failures, I'm saying failures because it's a relative term. Allow them. I don't know. Sometimes the way we behave to our children, we are like, it's like nikasisi tuko perfect sana. Nikasisi we don't fail, we don't make mistakes. So please, when you are realistic, you be like, you give room for failing, you give room for mistakes, you give room for imperfections. You give room, because that is the reality. Even you yourself, you're not like that. Then the other thing, provide an environment in which children can express themselves. They can express their feelings, they can express their needs, they can express their beliefs, their interests, their likes, their dislikes, and that kind of a thing. So make sure you provide an environment in which they feel free to express themselves. This one also builds self-confidence. Yes, you see, when you can let them talk. This is how I'm feeling. This is what want to create happen. It contributes building confidence in oneself. Unfortunately, most of us, we really don't create that environment for children. Sometimes maybe we feel like, what are you gonna say? You don't want to drink. Sometimes we feel like it is us to talk, it is us to say it, and the children, their responsibility is to follow what we have said. So sometimes we don't give them room. We don't even want to know how they feel, what is their opinion in regard to one, two, three things. But none of their human beings, even if they're not grown up as you are, they are human. Imagine the reason they think, they feel, they have opinions, they have interests, they have rights, they have the expectations as well. If only we keep them from. So can we provide an environment to make it as often as possible? Si kila wakati unakuwa tunakuja na masira zako, you talk nini 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 nini. Keep room. Sometimes because give room, give an opportunity, create that environment where the children, they can express their feelings, they can express themselves, they can express, that kind of being given opportunity to speak. And somebody listens to you and respects you. There's a way to feel, kumbe I'm part for that, kumbe that feeling that it generates. So can we learn that? Then the other thing, I really want you to do what I really want to say is that by all means, stop comparing children. I think comparison is the greatest killer of self-esteem. I think it is the biggest killer of self-confidence, self-esteem. Comparison. You know the reason? Because we usually compare in the negative. So you look at this child and what he's not able to do, and you're comparing him or her with a given child with what that child is capable of doing. So, for example, this child is here, he's not performing well academically and maybe even in one subject. So unamwangalia una like, kwa nini wewe huwezi perform kama nani? Kwa nini wewe huwezi fanya vizuri shuleni kama 1 2 3 things? You know, yeah, most of the times our comparison is in the negative. So you take what one is able to do, what one is not able to do, and mark you, these students they are different. They are different. They have different abilities, and even if all of them are in school, at the end of the day, they have different capabilities. They have different visions, and even they were created for different reasons. So whatever purpose is different for every one of us and for every child. So we do a big mistake by comparing because at the end of the day, like when you become like so and so, that is when you're okay. That is when you're good. You know that's kind of the message you're passing on. Because when you compare somebody, right? So they kunamwambia wewe you're not good enough because you're not doing 1 2 3 things. You're not attaining 1 2 3 things. So when you become like so and so, that is when you're good. That's when you'll be accepted. That is when you'll be accepted. So you see what is this child be doing? As long as I have not become like so and so, then I'm not good, then I'm not okay, then I'll not be accepted. But that's not the case. So what I'm saying is let us avoid by all means comparing children. Let's love them who they are. Let's appreciate and embrace them with their uniqueness. You know, the problem now, the biggest problem even as grown up you're having is that comparison. Because you want to be like any other person, you want our children to be like any other person apart from being them. Even now, sometimes that is the biggest problem we have because of what? Comparing ourselves. So we want to be like whoever, every other person around us apart from being us. You see now, God created us, He created us as masterpieces. And can you imagine? He expects us to be original. He expects us to be the masterpiece He created. So you cannot be a masterpiece by comparing yourself. You cannot be a masterpiece by comparing yourself. You cannot be a master by being you. So whatever you're able to do it best. Let us embrace them, the uniqueness. Let us embrace their abilities. Let us embrace them. So before you compare, think not even twice. Think thrice. Why am I comparing these children? This chain is trading here. The two of them are different. When you both of them are children of one parent, at the end of the day, imagine they are different. So you kill the authenticity in them by comparing them. You kill the masterpiece nature in them by comparing them. So at the end of that, be so please avoid comparison. Learn the children in your environment. Learn the children in your parents. Learn the children, embrace them, embrace them, and embrace them. And yes, they have weaknesses. Help them to become better and to improve in that area of weakness. And even as a human being, this one is not only for children, but even as a human being, even as human, as grown ups. Let's learn to be. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Know that you are not perfect. You have imperfections, but you have strengths. So not only the weaknesses or the failure, the mistake that you did should not really kind of bury you in a cage where you don't trust in yourself anymore, you don't believe in yourself anymore, and all that. At the end of look at the positives about yourself, look at the things. There may be failures that you've made, but there are also some successes, there are also some other good things that you've done. So why don't you focus on them? And my goodness, kumbe I can still do 1 2 3 things. So let us develop, help children develop, and even in us develop that self confidence. So I believe we've learned something. Comment and keep commenting and sharing what you want us to talk about. That is it for today. I love you so much. See you next time. Bye bye.